Alright, looks like we're moving. So, I am back here at Mixtapes and Mistakes. We are doing, finally, after a whole bunch of stuff that's happened, uh, mostly trying to get this setup working. I've changed the setup for the way my recording is set up. We're going to see if this works. I kind of also want to check out the sound in this area. This is like the desk area of the apartment, so this might be a different sound. It might be a whole different setup for me. I like it so far. I gotta figure out how to get a little more light here because it's like a little alcove. But so we're here finally getting our hands and our head around the Charlie Vick playlist. The biggest thing about the Charlie Vick playlist is these are songs that I feel epitomize a lot of my memories of Charlie, the cool guy that he is in general, and just my feelings and thoughts about Charlie. So, and I'll get to the songs in a second. I really just want to talk about, to begin with, how I feel about Charlie, what some of the songs that go with Charlie, or the kind of why I pick these songs, the usual stuff. So, when I met Charlie years ago, it's back in '98, like a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, when I first moved to Auburn, and I got into the role-playing group, one of the things, and this is the other thing I think that I don't think most people think about when it's happening to them, or when they're just living. A lot of people teach you things without realizing that they're teaching you things, and that as you move forward in your life, you use those things that you learned. One of the first things I learned from Charlie is, other than never judge a book by its cover, is that when people tell you things about other people, it's better to allow your experience of those people to become your guide for how you feel about them than what other people say about the people you meet. And I was always told, before I met Charlie, I was told that he was kind of a rabble rouser, a troublemaker. He wanted to upset the status quo. Now, mind you, in hindsight, this was told to me by people who, in some ways, in our local gaming community, were comfortable with the status quo for various reasons. And the more I got around these people, just in the community as a whole, and I'd watch Charlie operate, I'd watch Charlie interact with people, there were a bunch of things that were true and a bunch of things that were false. First of all, yes, Charlie was kind of a bit of a rabble rouser, but he wasn't rabble rousing for his own benefit. Like, he wasn't rabble rousing for him to gain power or for him to get any more notoriety. He didn't really care. He wanted the game to be better for everybody, which I thought was cool. And while he had the punk rock aesthetic, a lot of the things that he did were really about what people talk about punk being, which is being in defense of a lot of people, sticking up for your friends, and just caring about people in general, and being willing to fight for what you believe in, even if it comes down to a physical level. Part of the reason that it took me so long to do this playlist, other than the general process of what I do, I had to get really comfortable with talking about the crux of how I feel about Charlie, which is that Charlie saved my life a long time ago. The short version of that story is that after the infamous garbage truck story, but I think also after the chair shot incident, which is a whole other story that Charlie and his beautiful wife Keela got to the end of, I got hit by this garbage truck. There's a whole story about that, which I guess one day I'll have to tell on this channel when I do a playlist about weird events that happen to you. And I was paralyzed on my left-hand side for a long time. And I was super stubborn about it. And long story short, I got walking pneumonia and almost died. And Charlie, because I was too stubborn to ask people for help, or call anybody or whatever. Um, Charlie, because I was his friend and his neighbor, his upstairs neighbor, uh, checked in on me, and he did the things you're supposed to do if you believe in any kind of good aesthetic or Judeo-Christian aesthetic. He fed somebody that was in trouble. He helped keep them warm when they stubbornly wouldn't otherwise do it. Um, he made sure I was taken care of and got me help. And I probably wouldn't even be making this video without Charlie. So, and Charlie never asked me to thank him for it. I've always, first of all, thank you. But second of all, I mean, there's probably a list of 12 people that I'm not related to that I probably do anything for. Charlie's like top 3 on that list. And I don't get to see him as often as I probably should. I probably won't see anybody as often as I probably should. Because time and stuff just takes you away from really seeing people. So that's part of the reason why it took me so long, is that I had to really comb my feelings and be like, hey, somebody actually helped me, and they're really cool about it, and they saved my life, and that's a big deal to me. So let's get to the music before we get all sappy and need a hug. So DMX comes out now, and he's right when he talks about in the chat about how our apartment complex was super rowdy. I remember him singing the DMX lyrics for characters he played, but our apartment complex was an animal house. It was crazy. It was cool, but it was crazy. I drove by there about a year ago, I think. I was doing a job interview in Auburn, and I was amazed at how the whole street had changed, and now there's a Taco Bell like literally next to the apartment. It's like, so where we lived, if we lived there now, we could like walk downstairs, walk not even like it's not even 100, it's maybe 200 feet. And I don't know if I'm really exaggerating this number. Like, it's not far. Like, it's crossing a street. It's less than crossing a street to where this Taco Bell is. And I was like, I would be like 500 pounds if this was happening then. It's crazy. It's super crazy. But I think it's awesome. I think it's one of those perks that people living there have. One of the things I try to do too when I do these lists about people is I try to find songs, especially if it's songs that are on lists of bands they like. I try to include some of those songs. So that's why you got Homesick by Soul Sound, which might be the best song on Grave Dancers, but I'm willing to take the baits on that. Mother Love Bone, you got Smashing Pumpkins. And Drown might be, but Drown's probably one of the top 5 best songs Smashing Pumpkins ever did. I had to get really, the older I got, the more I understood why people thought Gish was cool and why people thought Gish was their best album. And the more I need to go back and listen to it. I listened to it a few years ago and I felt like I got it. And now that I do this sort of thing where I really talk about music more, I probably want to go through and do like a list or a commentary on debut albums or whatever, albums or seminal albums of bands from different genres. And Gish is definitely going to be on that list. Freedom Slaves, which I think is a very topical song for right now. And I think a song that kind of exemplifies Charlie's deal in the sense that Charlie is a rebel in some of the ways that you should be a rebel. It's not really about what people think. It's not about how you feel about what people think in that you care or not. And it's about just being a real free thinker. And that entire That particular Tesla album, which has Edison's Medicine on it, has a bunch of there's a few songs about specifically about Nikola Tesla on that album. It's a really good album. Rats, I think Rats is kind of topical right now. And we got Thank You by Alanis Morissette. And that's just kind of an overview of the songs that are on that list. I really think that overall, it's a good list. I know Charlie likes it. I saw the comment on a post, he likes it, so that's good. So that's that list. I want to talk about him a little bit and kind of briefly go over the songs. I'm going to start work now that I got this up, and I'm going to see how it works out. I think next time I might turn that light on. I still got to get the idea how this sounds, because there's some echo on this side over here. So that's it. That's this episode. The commentary on the Charlie Vick playlist for mixtapes and mistakes. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back with another video fairly soon. Later.